This tank here is a frog tank that my brother has in his room. And in this video, I'm going to be changing this tank from an aquarium to a paludarium. So I've already kind of started. Sorry about all that. But I have a lot of cool things I'm going to use for this tank, as like this foam waterfall feature. And then all of these are from a tank I scrapped. So this tank is going to look really good. For this tank, I wanted to save money and also get rid of these extra scrap pieces I had from a tank around 2 years ago. So that's why in this clip you see me just trying to position all of the spare pieces I had in a decent looking way, and I believe in the end I found a good sculpture for them. After getting everything in position and having it where I liked it, I brought out the one can I had of Gaps and Cracks expanding foam. This is from the company Great Stuff, and they also make a pond and stone, which is what the other foam pieces in this build are made out of. But I decided to use Gaps and Cracks just because it's a little bit cheaper, and I don't carve my foam anymore. I actually press it in around 10 minutes into the curing process, and that just makes it so I don't have to carve as much. As you can see, I still carve and grab away at it with my fingers, but pressing it in really helps that process. I will throw up on screen now the silicone I use on this build because I actually forgot. After you apply the silicone, you want to wipe it in firmly and place Eco Earth firmly into your foam, and you want to press it in to make sure that it sticks. And even when you press it in as hard as you think you can, it's not enough. You're still going to have some white parts. Since the last build clip that you guys saw, I've done a couple things. So I've added the substrate. I did another layer of silicone and dirt on the back walls here. And I also filled up these pots real quick and added the first plant that's going into this tank. But it's looking real good. I'm about to get it filled up with water, and we're actually going to do another time lapse of the rest of the build. With the expanding foam and silicone that I used, I have to wait 24 hours, and I recommend actually waiting a lot longer than that to let everything cure. But online, everything says 24 hours and you're good. I recommend a bit longer than that for silicone and expanding foam, just mainly because I don't trust it, but that's just me. All of this ivy is actually a really good plant for terrariums and paludariums, and it's invasive here in Oregon and it's everywhere. So I'm actually going to be taking some of this stuff and I'm going to be using it in the tank that I'm building in today's video. Another thing is these are the vines I'm going to be grabbing. So these look to be something dead. I'm not completely sure, but some sort of plant used to live on this tree and it vined all over, but now they're just dead sticks and they're gonna work perfect for the terrarium. So I'm pretty dumb. I locked myself out of my car at the park, and so I had to walk all the way home, but I got some moss on my way for the tank, and now I have to walk all the way back to the park with my spare key. But I don't mind. It's a nice day. How I filter all my tanks and build similar to this one is pretty interesting, I think, because I actually just pack the back there with filter floss, so all of the water does eventually end up in this area of the tank, since this is where it's circulating. And I have a filter floss bag with a bunch of activated carbon that I put on top of the water pump, and water will also actively flow through that, and that's gonna stop impurities, and that's kind of gonna do the same exact thing as a hang-on back filter, because usually they only come with a pouch of activated carbon. So that's kind of the same method that I used here, and I use that for all of my paludarium tanks like this. I think it's a pretty cool method, and it's been very successful for me for years now. All of my tanks take heavy inspiration from Serpa design, as he's kind of what started me off to the foam and everything that I did in this tank. If there's any more questions further to how I did it, I would love to answer them in the comments down below. But another thing I forgot to mention is the inhabitants. So I'll probably throw up something in the start of the tank of my brother's frogs, but they are 2 African dwarf frogs, so that also means that this tank had to be heated. I actually put the heater back there with the filter in the waterfall system, so all the heat will be circulated around because it's actually coming from the back there. And the reason I turned my brother's tank from a fish tank into this paludarium is because he kind of wanted to have another type of frog, and with this it's possible. So at the moment he has 2 African dwarf frogs, and this tank is more than suitable for them, as it is heated to the right temperature. It is a 15-gallon tank with a really nice floor plan. They can get all inside of these caves back here except for the real back of this one, because the pump's back there. I didn't want them to access that. But they have a lot of room here, a lot of floor space. As I said, it's a 15-gallon tank. And the main thing with dwarf frogs is floor space as opposed to up and down height, because they don't really swim. They only really go up to the surface to get oxygen. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and getting to the end. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, stick around. You know, I'll be making some more videos. The next video on my channel will be moving my alligator lizard out of his tank that he's in now, this guy right down here, and I'm going to be moving in my rubber boa. So that's going to be really fun, and I can't wait to show you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful rest of your day.